So I'm on a couple of blocks. You'll need a blanket. The tradition is, natural fibre, but use what you've got. I've got a lovely fluffy thing here. It's really, today, it's probably about keeping a bit of heat in, and although the weight is also good. Natural fibre stuff's more important when you use it as a support, maybe to lie on. You pleat it, lie back on it, and you need to not over compress. This compresses down too much. Okay, so I'm in easy cross-legged, and front shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. Have enough height so that you can easily tilt your pelvis, or you tilt your bones on the front of your hips, tilt them forwards. Okay, you should be able to hip bones in line with the knees, or they're slightly high. I could probably do with actually going up another block. It pays to be honest with yourself in these things. Just to achieve, there we go. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily do this in sort of normal practice, but in restorative, pay attention to little details like that. So hips are above the knees for me now. Go higher should you need to. Okay, and the top body's in that Tadasana, lifting and opening, shoulder blades in and down. Sometimes people feel, if you roll them up, forwards and up, and then set the shoulder blades engaged, in and down. Okay. Now, say, pop a little bit of a blanket around you. I'm actually putting some between the calves and the feet, just so that I just help them release onto it. Tadasana in the upper body, chin retracted. Keep your sternum lifted, but without letting the front ribs drift forwards. Keep them moving back to stay broad across here. Just checking in with your body. If something's moved out of alignment, just pick it up and put it back. Where's your weight on your sit bones? Are you leaning back? Are you favouring one side over the other? Even it up on the base. A little tilt forwards from the top of the sacrum, and the tummy lifts back against it. Broadens out to the sides. Just want to, you're up for trying this, just to explore, why we avoid pushing those ribs forwards. So if you get yourself into your sort of best Tadasana position, and put your hands there, so there's the bottom of my ribs. I want to be right, so my little finger sort of around the bottom of the rib, and I want to feel, as I breathe in, you should be able to sideways expand here. And just be as, round the side as you can, so you're getting the most of it. Okay, round to the side, I'm going to come slightly front. There's that sort of curve to the front. I'm going to be just behind that. Broad, Now lift your chest and arch your back. So the sternum is now lifting up to a point there. Now do the same, breathing. Try and expand sideways with your ribs. As I'm protecting my neck, got my chin down, tucked in. Back of the neck's long, back of the neck is long. Okay, come forwards. Okay, and let yourself slump forward and down. Tuck your chin in. And then lift your head, roll your pelvis forwards. And down a few times. So you see the difference in that? Arching back really create room in the front for the lungs, but it changes the position of the diaphragm, it closes down in the back, and it really locks you out of that sideways movement and collapse down. Just feeling a wee bit stiff at the back after that back arch. So this is a kind of a class you'd do if you were feeling a bit run down or end of a long shift, or the body's tired, the head's far too busy, and you'd like them to kind of match up towards the ready for bed level of activity. This is where I think this comes into its own. And then back to normal. That Tadasana lift, equal weight on the sit bones. So I'm going to do some twists, as we've done before. Now my body is moving from rest into this, so I'm not powering through that end point, I'm just moving up. See where it is? Ease off it a little bit and make sure I've got the action right. So offside sit bone, grounded, sternum lifts as you come round. Okay, that's enough. To the front, inhale, lift, front ribs to back ribs, and round again. Lift on the inhalation even if you're not taking it further round. Okay, listen to what your body's giving you back. Inhale, opposite side. Sorry, good feedback from Bill, by the way, thank you, on actually calling the poses before I move, just in case you're not looking at the video at the time, of course. Inhale, lift, exhale, twist. So I'm listening to what's coming back. I'm just allowing my twist to move into the space that my body feels it's created. And you can see quite easily, that's going further. So, I'm going to use what I have, a long arm out to a windowsill. Lovely. Inhale, lift, exhale. It's a different way of grounding it, of bracing it, than maybe getting the arm down here. Stay open in that part of the back and the side ribs. Looks like I didn't get all the talking out after all. Enjoyed that width, that openness on the other side that long arm gave me. It's also giving me better feedback about whether my shoulders are level or not. I think they are. I'm always trying to inhale, lift, and the movement comes with that grounding there on the exhalation. The grounding and sort of leaving it behind. Interesting to start with, that felt like I'm going to the opposite side. It felt like the restriction, the rotation restriction was in the back, the spine between the shoulder blades, whereas now it feels like it's in the soft tissue, it's in the obliques, on the opposite sides, outsides of the tongue. And release, so let's swap the legs. Actually, no. Take a note of which leg is in front. That's going to be the opposite leg on the next pass. Okay, downward dog. And you can see, I'm recommending warm, loose sort of clothes that you can move about in. I've gone for comfort since, for a change, I don't think it's any benefit to see whether my knees are lifting or my legs are working. So I've got my most comfortable jogging bottoms on. Alright, pose of the child. So, I haven't even taken my socks off. No, nicer if you can get the sit bones grounded into the heels and then come forwards and rest down, but whether you can or you can't, I'm going to recommend that you come forwards onto a support. So, I might build that up. A couple of blocks is probably not high enough. Could use a blanket. Cushion might be a bit too wide. Bolsters, you can get much better bolsters than this. This is just far too compressible. You know, and then, so lengthening forward, sternum lifting, you've probably got to pick a side. Yeah, and then rested. And then after a couple of breaths, you can just turn your head the opposite way. And try and do that when you come down next time. The opposite way round. Yeah. I definitely feel a bias. That's more of a stretch for me on this side. Okay. And well, if you can get away with leaving them there, or maybe that needs to go out. Downward dog. Nice exploratory one, up high on the balls of the feet. See what's going on the shoulders. When you can, without bouncing on it. Sorry, I meant. Yeah. Sit bones lifted. I'm going to really get that length through the front body. Any slip in there, just take the the doubt about it or the extra effort out by grabbing the mat. And then I'm going to straighten those legs, try and keep the sit bones lifted. Try and find the bottom part of the tummy. And happily, look, that's just there for my forehead. So if it's feeling all pushed up and scrunched, then it's probably too high. I wonder. It is causing my head to tilt like that a wee bit. I had to hinge. That's better. So you should be able to rest down onto it. Shoulder blades, active pose, everything else, just head rested. Go down a little. And down. Let that rest back down. Come from up here. Tummy lifted as close to, stay as close here as you can. As you come forwards, allow yourself, walk your hands and pick a side. Two or three breaths and then change. Oh, I've done it wrong, haven't I? I said to come down first on the opposite way to how you started last time. That's it. In fact, that's so much. Well, it's a little. It's tighter on that side, so I might actually bias it. Okay, downward dog. From what I've learnt last time, I'll take both of those off. Up and in. Heels high. Tummy lifting. Lengthen the heels back behind you. Yeah, lift the front thighs. So you're trying to lengthen that direction. And the effort of the fronts of the legs is bringing your centre of gravity back towards your toes ever so fractionally. Oh no. Not where I was the last time before it. At all. And then walk your hands towards your feet or your feet towards your hands. Stay low for Uttanasana, try not to hinge the neck. I'm warm enough for me to take a sock off. Don't quite know how to handle it. Go. Back in the neck low. Take yourself to a height that you can reach with ease. Yeah. It's not at the very end of your effort or your range. And let yourself drop forwards in time. Back of the neck long. I'm going to take toes, but remember we've done that with a belt under the balls of the feet. Straighten the back of the neck long, keep the sternum lengthened, and forwards and top. Okay, and then come to seated. Reminds me of my last yoga exam. There's an oxymoron there. I was that way last time, I think. It's alright. Opposite way around. Active through the spine, now you're lifting. In fact, I'm actually going to bring it around here, just so it's not supporting me up, it's just so I can let go further onto it. Gone down a half a block, I think I'm still in. Hips are maybe a little bit lower. I'm going to call that fine. And turn. So I'm going to start to the opposite side. Lift in on the inhalation, exhale, move. Try and keep the shoulders level. So it's like the spine stays in the center and the ribs rotate around it in that sort of corkscrew action. Whoops, really dropped. And release. Opposite side. Look out for those ribs being pushed forwards. Excuse me. So not quite the same long arm on this side. I'm trying to find a way of still pushing those ribs out. And the first side, once more each side. And I'm just kind of looking to warm up, looking to open up the body a little bit. Allow things to move without, the most basic of stiffness, tightness, holding us back. It's not a big developmental sort of class or start. It's warming things up, loosening things up, allowing for what's coming next. Release to the front, and once more, just supported pose of the giant, Supta or Adho Mukha Virasana. There we go. Ever. Okay, and then let's see if we can do two things. Okay. Sit bones on the heels, try and keep them as close to there as you can. Lengthen up into the sternum, walk your hands forwards. And I'm going to bias this to turn it that way. And then as you exhale, let yourself take up that base. Just get heavier into it. Still trying to keep grounded in here, so there's some action in this direction. But everything this way is just letting go, dropping down into the bolster. And turn your head. Okay. Downward dog. And then keep yourself low, hands to feet, feet to hands, whichever way around. And I'm going to turn to face the camera, turn that off, and I'm going to use these blocks. Keep the feet wide apart. And I have to not look up towards the camera. So, toes are pointing straight ahead or slightly turned in. That's too low. And stay, get whatever height you need, hands underneath their own shoulder. Okay. Back of the neck long, lengthened crown of the head moving that way, sit bones moving back, out the window for me. Active legs, grounding the ball of the big toe and broadening out to the ball of the little toe. Toes then just left on the floor. Top of the sacrum tilts slightly down. Really feel the difference of that on the stretch in the legs. Now we've done this before. When you go, if you can get your hands to the floor. If you can't, if you're on the blocks, stay on the blocks. If you can get your hands to the floor, that might be where you want to finish, and you can lower yourself down. The full pose is imaginary line between instep, stepping back onto that, and then exhale forward. Really, I should be able to get my head to the floor, and if you can't, you build the floor up. So, stepping back, or you can, if you're keeping your hands here, take them back a little. Either way, lengthen into the sternum, and then when you've got your foot, let your head drop to the support. Look out for the shoulders, they want to collapse in, lift them away, broaden them. So you can see in some ways, in the upper body, this is a preparation for a handstand, no, a headstand. Yeah, I need some more practice in that to start accessing deeper, broader breaths. Okay, take your feet in. Take your knees to the floor. Dandasana, Paschimottanasana.